IELTS Sample Questions and Answers Number 2 with Teacher John. Are you a serious student? Sure am. I would say I am the most studious among my circle of friends. I have been preparing around the clock for IELTS, burning the midnight oil. I've become obsessed with studying. Would you rather study at your house or the library? Definitely at the library, since I easily get distracted. My flat isn't the most ideal place to study, since I have tons of roommates who are always in and out of the place. What did you study at school? From 2018 to 2022, I majored in marketing at the University of Hong Kong. It was my first choice, and I was over the moon when I got accepted. In retrospect, I'm happy with my decision. If you could have chosen something different to study at university, what would it be? Looking back, I suppose if I didn't get into the marketing program, I probably would have chosen finance. I'm not exactly passionate about finance, but it would have made my parents extremely happy. Where did you attend university? I attended the University of Hong Kong, which is down the street from where I grew up. It's a rather prestigious school, which is very difficult to get accepted to. I lived in a hall of residence there. Do you like to read? I'm not that much of a reader. That being said, I have read the first Harry Potter book, which kept my attention for a bit. I never got around to reading the other books in the series. Do you prefer fiction or nonfiction? If I had to choose, I would say I am more into fiction. Nonfiction bores me to death, and I would rather watch a documentary for an hour or two instead of spending weeks to finish a book on history or politics. When was the last time you bought a magazine? Off the top of my head, I would say more than a decade ago. I can't even recall which magazine it would have been. It was ages ago. Did you like to read when you were younger? Sure did. When I was in elementary school, I read nonstop. Then once I got into junior high school, I didn't pick up a book unless it was for a school assignment. Do you do a lot of sitting? Compared to other people my age that I know, I reckon I sit as much as they do. When I'm in class, I'm sitting at a desk. When I'm at home, I'm sitting on my couch, binge watching Netflix. Would you rather have a job where you sat all day in an office or you were standing all day moving around? I'm so used to sitting that I can't even imagine being a waiter or waitress in a restaurant and walking around standing up all day. I would be so worn out, I probably quit as soon as possible. How often do you sit? Needless to say, I sit every day. Like I previously mentioned, I sit when I'm at home. I sit when I'm in school. I suppose I sit for at least 9 hours a day. Do you have a driver's license? Sure don't. I'm terrified of driving. Fortunately, I reside in a large metropolitan city which has extremely reliable public transportation, which allows me to go without a license for the time being. How often do you ride in cars? From time to time. I don't own a car, so I'm not necessarily in a car on a daily basis. I rely on public transport mostly. On occasion, I do take a taxi for hard to reach destinations. Would you rather sit in the back seat or front seat of a car? Without a doubt, I would prefer to sit in the front seat as a passenger. If I'm sitting in the back seat, I have less of a decent view. Plus, I feel like if I'm in a taxi, I'm in the back seat, and I find that somewhat an awkward feeling. What is the longest car journey you have ever taken? One time, I was in a car for 12 hours for a family vacation. Ooh. We were headed to the Disney amusement park in Florida in the United States. My father rented a car and we drove for ages. Do you like to tell jokes? Sure do. I'm a fan of telling jokes. I'm sure they are not as edgy as a professional stand up comedian, but I come across as quite funny. At least I tend to think so. What kind of jokes do your friends like to tell? My friends aren't the most cultured of people, so you won't necessarily hear political jokes. When we crack a joke, it is mostly about other friends in our group. Do you ever gossip with your friends? Of course, nonstop. Anyone that says they don't gossip about their friends is lying or in denial. And I'm positively sure most of my friends talk about me behind my back, which I'm completely fine with. It's human nature. Do your friends ever complain to you about anything? all the time, and it drives me crazy. My friends seem to be really unhappy about everything these days. They complain to me mostly about their jobs, and I always advise them to quit and find another. All right, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps me a ton. I have many mock tests, many IELTS speaking tests. Teacher John does a lot of one-on-one classes. You can find more information in the description. And don't forget, leave a comment. It really helps. Thanks.